Okay. Welcome back to Yoshima, Princess Half Demon Anime Review, Episode 14. This is reviewing the 15th episode of the anime, which is Farewell on the Lunar Eclipse. Yes, the second most critical episode of the whole series. Now, you're probably thinking, why is that? Well, because this actually answers a question I think a lot of people have been asking since the series started. What the heck happened to Inuyasha and Kagome? And it also reveals who the mother of Toa and Setsuna are. This whole episode is simply put kind of the explanation for it, plus a bit of an explanation of a couple of different flashbacks here. Okay, so the thing starts off with simply put basically we have Kaede with Moroku and Sango's sisters. And here's the strange thing: Moroku is nowhere to be seen in this flashback. I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, where the heck is he? I have no idea. So the thing starts off with Riku. Yes, the pirate who's popped up, of course, several times in the series. Him with his master, the son of the previous guy who made the Black Pearl for Inuyasha, and the shell thing. So she goes to visit Inuyasha, and of course, well, Kaede's informed about a demon in a shell, basically paying Inuyasha a visit, and of course, he shows off his adamantium barrage, which is basically this guy's late father taught him, and then of course, after accidentally destroying part of his own house, he gives him the two things: Black Pearls put in Inuyasha's eye, and Kagome herself basically gets to keep the shell. Okay. And then later on, we jump ahead a few years. Of course, this flashback start off with it's 18 years prior to the events of this current series, but 4 years after the events of the previous series. Which, okay, that's interesting. And then, thanks to the time skip, it's revealed, oh yeah, both apparently Kagome is pregnant. Yes, with her only child. And we reveal who the mother of Setsuna and Toa is. The mother is Ren. Yes, Ren, who at this point is a teenager. Yes, Ren. Now, I have no idea why in the world that the writers of the series thought this was a good idea to basically have it where a kid, basically this girl, who was a little girl when we first showed up in the series. I mean, it's only been 4 years since, like, the events at the end of the series. It's possible she might be about... I mean, the way she looks, I mean, they say she's a teenager. Presumably, she's about 16, maybe 17 years old, but... And apparently, she had a one-night stand with Sesshomaru. I'm like, okay. Now, the thing is, I'm not sure if, in fact, the creator of the series, Inuyasha, actually approved of this. Where a character who was first introduced as a little girl who Sesshomaru treated as his own, as basically like a father figure, who was a father figure toward, end up becoming the father of her children. Yep. Oh, and here's the thing. Ren is never seen holding these two kids. Nope. They share one scene with her. Of course, basically before this, we have Riku meeting with Kagome, which I'm thinking, now wait, why does Riku look exactly the same 14 years prior to events of the current present day stuff? Yeah, why does he look the same here and in present day? I do have a theory this guy is a demon. That could explain why he looks the same. They've heard him as a pirate. So, he apparently knows who Kagome is because, well, the whole thing with the Shukan Jewel, which, okay, that makes sense because, well, reputation. Okay, so by that, so... He basically convinces her to have it where her husband, Inuyasha, teams up with his older half-brother, Sesshomaru, to destroy this greater comet. So, later on we see Jaka, who's actually much nicer than he was previously, where he treats Kagome a lot nicer than he did at the end of the series. And basically gives her a nose like me, this place, like, okay, so... We go to this particular place, and what is this place? It's the home of Sesshomaru's mother. And apparently his mother is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, what the heck she's up to in this episode is never actually... It was like, apparently she's maybe on vacation or whatever. So, they team up, they destroy the comet fragment, and Then, of course, the Kinemaru, he's the main villain of the series. Apparently, he woke up because Sesshomaru ran into Zero, who is actually Kinemaru's sister. Yes, so she apparently woke him up because she needed to tell him that Sesshomaru took a human for a wife, and the fact that she's got twin half-demon girls, and the fact there's even a quarter demon coming. And then we have a bit of a expanded stuff, basically a couple different things that was shown previously. One, I thought originally I thought Kinemaru, based on the skull mask, I thought he was a resurrected Naraku. Oh, by the way, how the actual astral fragment was destroyed, the remains of it, was the same thing that was used to kill Naraku. Yeah, it's the same thing. The Mondo Tetsugumi, I think it's this portal basically wiped something out of existence. And this is the same thing that Iniwashi uses to destroy Naraku, the main villain of the franchise. So I'm like, that's interesting. Now, as far as I can tell, this is only like the third time he's officially used this move. He used it to kill Naraku. He used it to kill Roothead, which, by the way, they actually mentioned at the start of this episode that apparently Roothead is still around somewhat. So it could kind of mean that the beginning portion of this episode takes place just not long after the events of the pilot episode. Well, not episode 2, mind you, but episode 1, the flashback portion episode. Oh yeah, basically explains why Sesshomaru was with Kinemaru. Apparently, he went with him just to kill Inuyasha, so then we see that, we see the part from earlier was like, Sesshomaru walks up to Inuyasha, it's not the first time he's done this, where he sticks 2 fingers, puts it right through his freaking eye, take the pearl, and then simply take Kagome and Inuyasha, put him in the pearl, in order to save his move for the future. And of course, before this happens, we see Kagome giving the shell, which Morihei uses in present day, and gives it to the guy who's a friend of Miroku's. And here's the thing, this character's not seen present day stuff for some reason. I have no idea why, but it is. But prior to this, we actually have it where Sesshomaru takes his twin daughters to this clearing, puts next to a tree, and then, of course, Jaken, who was proclaimed to be the protector, puts a barrier on there and says, oh yeah, I'm going to get Ren. Yeah, he's never actually doing that because Ren is currently inside of the Tree of Ages for some reason. Yeah, it's never explained why, but she is there for some reason. So then we have one of the flashbacks that we saw last episode where the guy who was going to be burned down the forest, we see that same flashback again. With no change this time, mind you. And let's see, what else? Let's see. Morihei herself is dropped up with people. Koga? Yes, and here's the thing. His beautiful wife is in this episode. Yes, making her first appearance in the series. Not only Koga, but also his wife, Ami. Which, wow, that is quite something. I like the fact they brought this character back. I mean, Koga, not surprising because he's a canon character. And Ami, who's a character who was anime original, who the writer of the series actually adored her so much, she made canon in the manga after she made an appearance in the anime. And I love the fact they actually still have these two still together. I don't know if these two had children or not, but I'm sure they probably did at some point. And then they head off to some woman, which this plays actually this actually is set up for next week's episode, involving Morihei reuniting with her own mentor, who is a woman from the wolf tribe, which is interesting to say the least. But with the exception of the whole thing with Ren, this definitely was a great episode. And it does expand upon some stuff. It's mostly, you can kind of say, this is kind of unofficially the second episode series. If you basically, this is after that flashback. And then, of course, they had the stuff from episode 7 lead into that particular point. And now we're pretty much finished the flashback. So, though you get to this flashback, okay, so you figure out what happened to Kagome and Inuyasha. But here's the question. Where the heck is Shippo? Yes, where is Shippo? I mean, he was seen actually in the flashback in the very first episode of the series. Here, he's nowhere to be seen for some reason. There's no explanation exactly what happened to him, or if he's even still alive. It's possible he might be still alive, but at least this episode did answer a lot of questions, basically, that people have been asking. So, I would say the only question, of course, they kind of basically hint that in this episode. Also, this episode does reveal why that snake woman from a few episodes back, why she hates Shimuru. Yeah, this episode finally explains that because Shimuru took her arms, which contained the jewels, which actually went to his own daughter. Which, okay, that's a good explanation for that. Sweet. Excuse me. Yeah, because the thing is, this one first showed back in episode 8, and I didn't like the episode very much because nothing really was explained in this episode. This episode did kind of explain it personally. So, you can kind of say a lot of the plot related to stuff for the series, not the main stuff per se, but basically just a lot of wrapping up some, let's say, loose ends, explaining some stuff. Now, I'm hoping at some point they actually bother to explain what the heck happened to Shippo. I personally hope so, because it's quite dumb the fact they actually haven't explained what the heck happened to him. Yep. So, yeah. That's it for Cyclo View. Also, I'm hoping to see Kogan present. That will be interesting to say the least. Yep. So, next, I'm going to basically do two Comic Cores next. And then I'm going to do Fire Force. And then after do Fire Force, well, then I'll do two more Comic Cores. And that'll be pretty much it for today. Yeah, that'll be it. Okay, do this video. Bye.